How's it going, everyone? Paul with Adaptable Survival. What I wanted to do in this video today is finally do my long-term review of the Mora Garberg carbon. Stick with me as we dive into it. Alright, so with this review of the Mora Garberg, I don't want to dive too heavily into the specs. There's a lot of videos out there that do a really great job of doing that. I will also throw a link to the Amazon page for the Mora Garberg, so you can dive into the specs, pick up one if you want to. But I've used this over the last 3 years for every single class that I've taken and every class that I've taught at, and as long with all my practice in between classes. So this knife has been thoroughly abused. I haven't been easy on it. I haven't always taken care of it the greatest, just to kind of see how well this will hold up over time. So just looking at the knife, you can see that this thing has been pretty well abused. I do have a little bit of surface rust on there right now, nothing too major, but the spine has been chewed up pretty badly from practicing flint and steel fires. This is one of my weaker skills throughout my classes, so I did a lot of practice of that, as you can see, and I can still throw sparks off this spine really easily. It's still really sharp, and you can see along the blade it's a little bit lighter. It doesn't have that black coating anymore. That's from stropping it. So most times I either strop this, use a ceramic rod on it. I hardly ever really use a diamond sharpener or anything like that on my blades. I usually just use, the little piece of leather I normally carry with me, or a ceramic rod back at home. But in saying that, with the blade, the Garberg carbon and the stainless steel do come with a secondary bevel. I'm pretty confident that that thing was gone before my first year of use with this. But with stropping that and using the ceramic rod or using a diamond sharpener, if you're not accustomed to sharpening that secondary bevel or don't know it's there, you're more than likely gonna eventually wear that off, and it's just gonna be probably more of a convex grind, if I had to kind of say what it's turned into. But it still performed really, really well for me. It does have a little bit of surface rust on the pommel, nothing too crazy, but all that stuff can be taken off pretty easily. So what I want to do is dive into a few other tasks to show how much of a workhorse this thing still is. Alright, so I just cut off a random branch that was on the ground here, just to do a little bit of carving, carve up a tent stake. Let's see. Let's come on this side here. Carve that L7 notch in there. Crown off the top so as we baton it in, it doesn't splinter out on us. Now we can kill vampires, or we could just stake in our tarp. Your choice. So I showed you guys me carving with it, batoning with it, and now with the spine, since it is pretty beat up, just wanted to show, and I took off a little more than I was hoping, but as you can see, I can still chew into that material. So if I need to process fat wood or get some tinder from the inner bark on a tree, I can still achieve all of those with the spine of the knife. The thing that I wanted to cover before wrapping up this video is the sheath that I got with my Garberg. You can get this with the plastic multi-sheath or the leather sheath like I have here. I went with this because I do like this button flap that goes over it and kind of holds it in place. As you can see by the shape of the sheath itself, this has molded to the knife. This is from getting wet from training in all the different conditions. winter, rain, all of that. I never formed this to the knife. I just put it in there as is, and it's formed like that over time. But as you can see, I do have some wear on the outside of the sheath, but this thing will go for years yet. So I have no worries there. Nothing bad to say about the stitching. This piece of duct tape with a sail needle, I put that on there when I first bought this knife back in 2018, and other than the ends curling up a little bit, haven't had that come off at all. One thing I do with my knife when I'm doing any maintenance, when I take off any surface rust, whatever else, sharpen it back up, hone it, I do put a nice thorough coat of oil on here, so when I store it back in my sheath, that oil will absorb into the sheath, kind of preserving the sheath and giving my knife a nice environment to be stored in. The belt loop on the back has basically formed to how I have it riding on my hip, so I've been really happy with this sheath. I didn't want to dive heavily into the specs with the Mora Garberg carbon. I just wanted to give you my long-term review of it, how I've used it, how it's performed, how it's held up, and I would highly recommend this to anyone who is asking me about a full tang knife that's going to last them a long time. Without a doubt, I would say the Garberg is a great investment. Cost-wise, it's not too expensive in the grand scheme of things. If you wanted to go with the plastic sheath, right now on Amazon that's 75 bucks. The leather sheath is 90 bucks, and then you can also get it with the plastic sheath with the survival kit, so you can attach a ferro rod to it for about 120. And I will throw links to all three of those down in the description box below, so you can check them out if you want to pick up one of those. But yeah, I'm very impressed with how well this is held up, considering how harsh I've been on this knife. I've used this in the Adirondacks, I've used this down in Florida, I've used it in Ohio, who knows how many times, same in Wisconsin, all around the year, summer, fall, spring, winter. So this thing has seen the conditions of every single season in various climates, has seen salt water, and this thing has still held up. Some of the coating has been faded away, but for me that doesn't bother me at all. That just comes with use on any knife. So I would highly recommend this. Let me know what knives you are using currently. I'm on the search for a new knife. I'm planning on designing my own, but I want to try out the full range of knives out there. So let me know what kind of convex blades you've been using, saber grinds, any grind that you prefer. Let me know down in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear what you're using so I can get some ideas of what to pick up and try. Don't forget to like and subscribe. That helps bring more people into our community so we can further grow our knowledge together. As always, this has been Paul with Adaptable Survival. Adapt your mind, your body, and your gear.